Mark Twain once said that money is the root of all evil. Guess what? Here on the Smart Money Hub, we've invested in ensuring that you are not a victim of that evil by understanding a few things about money. My name is Web Daniel Sabati J. Subscribe, like, and share this video here on the Smart Money Hub because the conversation is about to get as exciting as it can get. Now, in the first episode of the Smart Money Hub, we spoke about an emergency fund. And I learned that many of you were hearing that for the first time. And guess what? I'm bringing back the same gentleman who introduced you to this new word. Mr. Godfrey Kasozi is a seasoned financial expert who most recently was manager of one of the most successful circles in this country. Mr. Kasozi, good to have you again.
Good evening, and I'm pleased to be here once again.
You introduced something exciting, and I remember in that conversation about an emergency fund, the thing that I loved most is how it will save me from selling my valuables. A big vice. What can you remind people about the lessons we learned from the first episode?
Yeah, just to recap what we went through the first episode, we got to know that we need a fund called the emergency fund, which we have to run to when we get unexpected expenses and financial shocks. We talked about irregular salaries. It helps us with that. We talked about unexpected medical bills. We talked about funerals. We talked about car breakdowns and even accidents. Maybe I should add that today, even accidents. And I remember we also said that if you don't have that emergency fund, things that will befall you are expensive loans, compromising on your daily enjoyments, your daily activity enjoyments, and fear to invest, and dipping into the capital of your business because you don't have an emergency fund, and also selling your valuable household properties.
Wow, which you don't want to do. Now, guess what? Today we are taking it to the next stage in this series, and we are talking about the real work now. This is where it begins. How do you create an emergency fund? Where do you start, Mr. Kasozi?
Where to start from? Of course, to make the decision. The most important thing is to make the decision. One of the local languages here has a phrase which says salao. That is the first step. Step number one, you have never had an emergency fund. Make the decision, decide that today, starting from today, I am going to have an emergency fund. When you do that, that is your step number one, which drives you ahead. After you have made the decision, then decide which incidents is this emergency fund going to back up.
What do you mean by incidents?
The incidents, for example, which unexpected expenses and which financial shocks is it going to back up? Because there are so many, you may decide and say, the emergency fund I'm going to create is going to back up only funerals, unexpected medical, or unexpected accidents. You may choose three. You may have a broader income, a broader saving, and say, mine will, you may add on a few others. Mine will go to salaries on top of the other three that I have mentioned. Mine will cover irregular salaries, irregular incomes, emergency school fees incidents. So decide on which incidents your fund is going to cover. The reason you have to do this is to demarcate so that if anything happens outside
those things you've listed, why you set up the fund,
you
don't touch that money.
Please don't touch that money. Don't dip into it. After that, set a target.
By that you mean an amount.
Set a target that if I get this kind of amount after my gradual saving, I think I will have a stable and ready to work emergency fund. You can even, if you want, you can even pause a bit when you reach that target. Let me give you an example of a target.
Mhm.
There is a standard target, which is very common. Some experts say that you can say, for example, let me enumerate all my expenses of a month. You sit down and list them. After listing them, you multiply that amount by 3. Then you come up with a target. That is just an example. Yeah, to come up with an amount. But you may just, it's not very good to make a wild amount which does not have any guidance. But the example I have just given is a guidance. You list all your expenses of a month, multiply them by 3. Then
that's the expenses on the other things you listed. How much you would spend on them? Or
no, your daily real day-to-day expenses. It's just a guide, not that you are going to use it for those, but it's just a guide to help you come up with an amount. Instead of just saying, let me have an emergency fund of 3 million. You know, some people can say, if I have 2 million as my emergency fund, I think I am comfortable. Anything that befalls me, I'll pick from there. But what is the basis? What guideline have you used to come up with the 3 million or the 2 million? So that is the target amount. Then after you have done those 3, create the account. Create the account.
Now that's where I would ask, creating the account. Now, does it have to be a bank account? Can I get when we were kids, we used to get these insecticide tins and break them at the back and throw in money there.
That is a savings box.
A hole in the back of the house and put the money there. How?
Or do I have to tell my spouse, keep for me that money when we need it?
Exactly.
No, okay. The things you have mentioned, some of them we really discourage. We really discourage those. The standard thing and most appropriate thing would be to open up a bank account, or better still, in a circle. You know, a circle is a very good self-help institution. You can go to your circle if you have joined a circle. You can go to them and they will create for you an account. You may have the usual regular savings account. You may have a site account. You may have a fixed deposit account. Create another one and name it emergency fund. Then here I will also urge circles. A circle can create it for its members as a product. That is even better as a product. Rather than the member coming himself or herself and choose one of the products that are there and decides to make it the emergency fund. It would be better. That's why circle is the best in this kind of thing we are talking about. It would even be better for the circle to go a mile and create a product called emergency fund.
Some circles can even make it compulsory that you must have an emergency fund.
Maybe. So if the circle creates it, then that is beautiful. You open it up and start saving money on it. I think that is the best. The insecticide tin you talked about, that is a savings box actually. That one I wouldn't discourage it, but if you are to do it, let it be just a transition. You throw the coins there and then you take them to the circle, break it, and put them on there. If you want to use it as a transition,
make it easy. Maybe you have extra coins you get.
But let it not be the permanent emergency fund.
So now you've started.
You have created the account. After creating the account, start small. That is very important. Start small. Don't put a very big burden on yourself to start putting a lot of monies that you don't even earn. You know, for example, if you have a restaurant which can, for example, give you a 5,000 a day, which you can a disposable 5,000 a day, Go to your circle. This is where the circle is a very good example.
Yeah.
Go to your circle and deposit that 5,000 daily, or deposit 10,000 every 2 days.
Yeah.
So according to your means, if you're a border rider and you think you can do it daily,
Yeah.
you know, the borders, those who don't ride their own, they have something they call reporting.
Yeah.
Reporting to the boss. Before you report to the boss, your income, the balance,
Yeah.
you can decide that on a daily basis, I will pick this from my daily income and put in the emergency fund. Then there are people who may decide weekly.
Yeah.
Weekly, every Saturday, every Friday, I will collect this much. So you can have the other transition, which we have called the piggy box, the savings box.
Yeah.
From Monday to Friday, you are slotting the money into your transitional account at home. Then every week, you lift that, take it to the circle, and replenish your account.
And lastly, because we need to wind this up, anything else that?
Yeah. Lastly, maybe I should say that make it a habit when you have started. Please do make it a habit, because if you don't make it a habit to remit that money to your account, somewhere along the way, you might give up, and your emergency account will be stagnant. Yeah. So make it a habit, just the way you have to brush your teeth every morning, the way you have to make a shower. Let that habit of remitting to your emergency fund be habitual. If you have made it monthly, you can even tell your bank.
Yeah.
You can even give a standing order that after every month, let this amount go to such an account. Yeah. So habit, make it a habit.
Amazing. Well, I think again we've got to leave it at this. This is a series, guys, where we talk about this emergency fund. You might think it's obvious, but there's quite a lot you need to learn about it. When we do return, Mr. Kasozi, next episode you will be telling us, now I have started. It's one thing to start.
Yes.
It's a whole different thing to manage the process. Now, how do you sustain it?
To be consistent.
I can do it for 1 month, 1 week.
How do we administer the emergency fund?
There is more to learn there. My name is Webb Daniel Sawachije. He's Mr. Kasozi. Thank you, Mr. Kasozi.
We'll
catch you again in the next episode. This is the Smart Money Hub. Subscribe, like, and share, and let's get rich together.
Bye-bye.